Hey guys, it's Kelsey and back with another scrapbooking process video, and we're doing another go-to design. You guys just saw a layout similar to this where I had 3 portrait 4x4s. I really love this design, and my next page was 3 landscape 4x6s, so I thought it would be a really good opportunity to show you kind of back to back this go-to design with the varying orientations. This design, I always get people saying that they love seeing this design. It's really easy to use. You get a lot of photos used up. And I love working with this. So it's going to be kind of very similar to the last page, but we're going to switch up the proportion. We're going to stack these vertically, and we're going to work on the opposite corners. This is actually the tone-on-tone pink stripe I gutted from the last page. That's another reason I love this design, is you only need half of a 12x12 because your photo strip covers up half the page. So I didn't even have to use a 12x12 from my kit this month. I just used one of my cheap scrap black pieces of paper from my stash, and I'm piecing the remainder of this tone-on-tone pink onto the background. I did just cut a little bit of it so I could stretch it to the right side. That way it looks like a whole 12x12. But you can see once I put my photo stack up here, you really can't tell. For this one, I really wanted to go down the pink and blue color scheme. The last one I did was pink and green. I really love the pink and green in this collection, but I thought it would be cool, especially because the tones in the photos. I think the navy just would go a lot better with these photos, so I thought it'd be nice to try and find a different color scheme to work with. There is a navy and white polka dot branding strip, which right away I thought would be perfect to kind of border these two sides. So I'm just putting that on either side of my photos. That way there's kind of a border layer. Just to introduce that navy, it kind of covers the seams. And I really like how polished that makes it look. So this is the church that Marcus and I got married in. The top photo is just a close-up of the sign, and then the lower one is kind of the front of the church, and you can see a bunch of the guys gathered around in front of the building. So I had my bridal suite, but they did not give Marcus a room to get ready in, so he kind of just showed up already dressed and ready with his best man. And he ended up just kind of meeting friends and family and all of that as they came in. So that bottom photo, I don't know what he's doing. He's being such a goober, but he's doing this really funny stance or whatever as he talks to some of his friends that came. So I just wanted to document all of this. I really like the progression of these photos and how it kind of gives you the entrance to the church the morning of the wedding, and kind of what was going on their side while I was getting ready. So I'm starting out by pulling in, you see my whole stack of pink stuff to the left, my whole stack of blue stuff. I pretty much took everything that was green and yellow, or had any other colors, and set them aside. That way I could just focus on my color scheme. And I'm trying to create a cluster to the lower left here. I'm really wanting to be sure to use another journaling spot. So I'm trying to figure out which journaling spot I want to do and how I can create kind of an embellishment cluster around that with the scraps that I have. I love this blue and white gingham, so I'm really trying to find ways to use that scrap, but it's just not a big enough scrap for me to border the way I was wanting to. I was thinking I would do a pink journaling piece with a blue layer behind it, but as you can see, I kind of struggle with figuring that out. So I kind of switch gears, and I'm kind of like, oh, well, I have 2 of these pocket cards. That's chapter 1 and chapter 2. I could piece them together so they look like a larger piece. And instead of having a pink journaling card, I'll do a blue journaling card. So I love this. I'm actually pulling in the floral journaling card, which I love because it's navy, but it's got those tones of white and pink from the floral design in it. And I love this. I was really struggling when I first opened these cards. I'm like, what am I going to use this chapter 1 and chapter 2 pocket card for? I'm like, I really want to take advantage of this kind of unique design, but I just don't know how to use it in the context of my wedding. And then I realized once I started doing this, I'm like, oh no, I'm going to cover up the 1 and the 2 from these cards. And I was like, can I save the 1 and the 2 and use them for something? And then it kind of dawned on me that this is 2021. I could make my title of this page Established 21, just because that's kind of a running thing I want in the wedding pages, that we were married in 21. We were kind of established as our own new little family in 21. So I am fussy cutting the 1 and the 2 out of these cards so I can use that part of the design. I really don't need the chapter part, so I'm just leaving that on that piece. But this way I get to use the soft pink grid part of the pocket card as a layer for my journaling, but I'm using this design in a different way so it's not wasted. And I was really excited when I came up to like figuring this idea out, because I was really wanting to be able to use these cards this month and was really stuck on how to do it. So I like this this idea. So I'm going to go ahead and layer my journaling card back down. Because of where I had to gut, it does kind of get layered in a weird way. Naturally, I would like to push this journaling card all the way to the branding strip to the right, so you didn't see any pink on that side. I really like my layers more compact that way, but I obviously don't want the holes where I gutted the numbers showing, so I did just keep the journaling piece a little bit more to the left just to cover the holes. But I think it looks okay. It's a little different for me, which I think is what is weirding me out, but it's fine. I have 2 fringy scallopy pieces left, and one of them was this soft light pink, which is in my color scheme, so I thought that would be a really nice layer and texture to add, so I am adding that. And I don't need the full 6 inches, so I'm going to trim the part that runs over the branding strip, and I'm going to save that little scallop and a half for the upper right hand corner, because I do want to do just a little mini accessory cluster up there, just so there's a little bit of interest somewhere else on the page. Most of the interest is going to be in this corner here, because that's going to be my journaling, my main embellishment cluster, and my title. Planning on my title being underneath this journaling area, so you can see I'm popping up the 2 and the 1 on some foam. And those are going to go at the bottom there. And I just love that. It's the perfect color scheme. It's navy and pink. I use the journaling cards, so all I need is the EST from one of my alpha sheets. So I'm pulling in my trusty root beer float beloved font in white. So I'm just going to say EST 21. And then I will need to fill out this embellishment cluster a little bit, but I'm really excited about this. I got my title. I know where my journaling is going to go, so I just need to kind of finish it out and embellish the rest of it. But yeah, I love this design so much. And I'm really glad I kind of got to do it back to back in like kind of different ways so you could see. But it's a design I do a lot. I feel like I should make a playlist just with this go-to design, so you can see all the different ways I've kind of used the same design. But this is just such a good go-to when you have 3 photos to scrap. So I'm kind of layering this up here. I love the fringy scallop. That gives me a nice horizontal area to start building my cluster from. So now I just need to figure out what I want to use in that cluster. I know I really want to use some of these chipboard hearts, but I think I actually end up using the chipboard ephemera hearts versus the chipboard sticker hearts. I think this is the only page so far this month where I didn't get one of these chipboard hearts on here. I might go back and add some, but I kind of like how it's looking, because the heart I end up using has a white halo on it and none of those other hearts do. But I'm pulling in another one of these lacy die cut pieces from Jennifer. She sent them to me for Valentine's Day, and they're like the perfect lacy die cut for a wedding. And I really wanted kind of a lacy layery piece behind all of this, and I kind of felt like the doilies I have would be just a bit too small for how much space I was wanting this element to take up. But this lacy bit is just like the perfect shape to kind of hug and layer behind what I was wanting it to. So I'm gluing that down really quick, and then I'll glue down my little cluster here. But I think it's so perfect. And if you could notice the kind of appliques on my wedding dress, I kind of feel like the style is very much the type of floral that was on my wedding dress. So I think it's just so perfect for these pages. And it was kind of that perfect last layer that I needed for this page. So now that that's down, I can kind of revisit my smaller embellishment thing, like areas. I'm looking through all the blue and pink things. There's that scrap of the navy scallop I tried to get on earlier. I still do kind of want to use that, but I need to build up a couple areas first. But all I'm doing now, there's a couple leaves that that ran off of the page when I glued down this lacy bit. So I'm going back and adding the leaves I trimmed off to fill in a couple of the areas of the lacy part that's coming out from my journaling spot. But I like the frame over there. I'm thinking that's going to be my little base. I just need to figure out what like icon or die cut or whatever I want to have in that frame. But I got stuck for a moment. So while I have the scrap of the fringe, I'm going to go ahead and do my mini cluster in the upper right hand corner. So I'm just tacking that little scallop up there. I have a little navy heart speech bubble, which I think is perfect. And I really wanted to get one of the word stickers from the sticker sheet on here. So I'm just using the love sentiment. So there's a little bit of white up there as well to kind of go with the white of the title and the die cut. So that's all I'm doing in the upper right hand corner. I just wanted a small little something up there, and I think that's sweet. And then now I'm back to this other cluster. I pulled back in that little navy scallop, and I just decided to pair up a couple little hearts in that frame. It was the right size. It's a wedding layout. I feel like hearts is going to be my go-to kind of element to add. So I did pull in one of my white hearts from Ronnie's die cut pack, and I'm just popping the little navy chipboard ephemera up on some foam to layer on top of that. And I think that's just really sweet. So I'm getting all of that glued down. There's not a whole lot left. I really did want to do finishing touches. I've been using the chipboard heart stickers for my finishing touches mostly, but on this particular page, I kind of felt like that would be distracting. So I actually went back to a sticker sheet. It wasn't even the stickers I used as my title. It was a separate white sticker sheet. But I pulled in a couple of the foam periods to serve as my kind of enamel dot looking finishing touch, just because I thought it was nice and light and airy. It added a little bit of extra dimension and texture without being distracting because it's kind of white and it's mixed amongst the lacy die cut. But that's kind of what I decided to do as my finishing touch instead once we kind of get to that point. Because I just didn't want to introduce more color or something that would draw your attention. But I'm getting all this down. I'm popping the heart, the white heart, up on some foam, and then again the blue one just to layer on top. I popped up on some foam so it all lay flat. But I'm doing my journaling really quick. It just says the big day is here. While I was getting ready, Marcus and Austin hung out and greeted guests as they arrived, and then I dated it, so we had the date, which is nice because it runs into the ESD 21. This I think is going to be the first wedding page, like wedding day page after the invitation page, just because you flip to this page and you see the location, and this is kind of just the very beginning of the day while I was inside getting ready. So I thought that would be a nice one. And that's another reason I thought it was nice that it was more simple, just because you're getting ready. We're starting the wedding pages and you can see that other one I did there using the same design in a different orientation. They look very different even though I'm using the exact same paper and kind of the same design principles. So I just wanted to show you really quick side by side what these two looked like. But I'm going in with these foam periods as my little finishing touch in a couple areas, and that is it. So here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.